Welcome to Paranormal Crossings Into the Light. I'm your host, Aaron.
I'm James.
And I'm Darrin.
What a day already. My goodness. I don't know if they're having a parade today for November or what, but what is up with the parking outside the studio?
It is insane.
It is. Maybe, the title for today is Negative Influence and How to Deal with It. Negative spirit influence, I should say. And I think we're still being influenced because
Just a little bit.
We're all upset about the parking situation. My goodness.
Upset is not even the word for it.
No. And we do have lovely Kayla, which is your beautiful wife, my little sis, who's off in the shadows. We can't see her today, but
Should we bring everyone up to speed on what the
hell happened?
What the hell happened? What has driven today's topic?
Yeah, let's start off by saying, first of all, I am so done with talking about the Klondike.
Even though we're going to talk about the Klondike.
But with that said, we love the Klondike. We love Holcomb Waller, who is the new owner of the Klondike, who's been so gracious to let us come and do all the things that we've done. And we will, I promise, I will finish that. I will finish the interview. Oh my gosh. You can, but it may be next year by the time we actually show it, maybe next October. But anyways, but yeah, so let's bring them up to speed as why the topic for today. And we do have June Lundgren, who's our wonderful friend, close friend, who's psychic medium, demon seer, author, world renowned. And I mean, I don't even know how she even has time to call in today.
Yeah.
But she is going to be over the phone and kind of weigh in on this topic today. So, but anyways, I'll let you catch us up to speed, because this was kind of your deal that got put together. So why don't you catch us up to speed?
All right. So as the viewers have figured out by now, we have done the Klondike. We've done the investigations. The final night that we were there, Aaron showed up and
finally
showed up. But I was remarking beforehand to James that I've been watching the footage from the previous week. And I'm like, wow, I was doing a lot of cussing in this thing. Because every time that spirit would come forward and get a little bit angry with us, we tended to get a little bit more angrier with it. And then the last night, James was really affected where I was
all over the place on that one.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
at one point, I think I was even laughing.
Yeah.
Now, which night was this one?
That was the Saturday night that you were there.
That I was there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
When James was telling it where it could go and how far it could go.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, we kind of walked out of there, and I think that, on the way out, you had mentioned, I've never seen James like that.
I've never seen you like that either.
Right.
Now, we have done so many investigations together. You were part of my team for a long time. And so one of the things that I had always said and still say to my team is we always treat, spirits with respect, just like people in life. In the afterlife, we treat with respect the way we want to be treated. So I'm watching James just going off on this spirit, and I'm just sitting there and observing and documenting because I have a camera in my hand,
right?
And I'm just in disbelief, and I'm like, this is not him.
No.
Then I'm watching you, and you're doing the same thing, and I'm like, okay, I know enough. I've been around long enough in the paranormal as an investigator long enough to know that this is not these guys. Am I right, Kayla? I mean, your husband better than we all do. And so this is not you guys. So I realized, okay, first of all, I'm glad I had a camera to document because I'm going to show you guys at some point, and realize that they're being influenced. And I thought, okay, well, I'm protected, which we'll get into the protection later.
Right.
So there's no way I'm going to be influenced. Right. We'll get into that later. So anyway, so I'm watching you guys. So go ahead.
So, yeah. So when we walk out the final night, we get in the car. I had forgotten a extension cord in the basement. So I had to go back in and go get it. And like I called you on the way home, and I'm like, I'm back in the basement. We're back in the Klondike. I'm alone in the basement. I should be overjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is what we've been wanting. We want back in this building. And I'm angry.
And you're by yourself.
And
in
I'm
the
by
basement.
myself. And
Nobody else.
Nobody else is there.
Yeah.
The bartender's trying to pack up so he can go home. So I got to hurry.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm angry because I've got to go back. And I'm just, we forgot an extension cord. What the hell? And I'm just fuming and I'm angry. But I shouldn't be because, again, I'm in the Klondike by myself in the basement. This is where we want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So on the way home, as the further away that we get from the Klondike, I can kind of feel those emotions start to ebb away. And then I had the revelation. Okay, you had a fall. You had an injury.
Mm-hmm.
I injured myself. Now, we both walked in with protection. You know, I got the St. Benedict medallions, got the holy water on the vest. We got the black salt in our pockets. We walk in and we know what we're doing. But like I asked you, would us being under injury be that one thing that let it in?
Mm-hmm.
Because the spirit that we're dealing with, we weren't dealing with the woman,
No,
the little boy, or the man or the woman up on the third floor. We were dealing with the guy on the bar who's angry and bitter. When we did the cold reading,
Mm-hmm.
said, yeah, there's a guy at the bar. He's angry. You know, he's upset that he was killed. It was made to look like an accident. And that one Saturday, when we were having the things back and forth, you know, when it went on for 15 minutes, just going and going and going. You know, I think because of the fact we spent so much time in the basement and we were injured.
Yeah.
So there was a hole in our armor.
Yeah.
That we were influenced.
You're already susceptible.
Yeah. We were
already vulnerable. Yeah.
And we were giving it what it wanted. He wanted a fight.
Yeah.
And we were giving him a fight. We got suckered in.
Yeah. That's exactly what he wanted.
Yeah.
And I had been sick. And so when all your defenses are down in that way or vulnerable in that way,
mm-hmm.
It's going to happen. It's inevitable. And I knew better. And that's the thing. The one time I was attacked by a demon, I let my guard down. I didn't protect myself. And that was at the Nordblad in Astoria. And here, this wasn't a demon, but there was a negative influence. And so what can we do to protect ourselves? Well, we thought we protected ourselves, but it was a little late at the time. And this is kind of what I wanted June to weigh in on. And so we'll be talking to her in about 10, 15 minutes. We'll have her weigh in on what she thinks. What did we do wrong? And what can we do to make sure that this doesn't happen again to us? My philosophy is that when we are injured or, whatever, had been sick, should we even attempt? Normally, if someone asks for an investigation and I'd been sick, I always say no. Always say
right.
No. Or do a removal or whatever. I always say no if I've been sick. So what about you? You guys?
I've never been sick for the most part when I've done the few investigations that we've done. So
yeah,
we've never run into it. I mean, if we would have known that we were going to be a little bit more, I mean, this is something that we can grow upon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we were taking some. We walked into a situation. We did kind of sign up and say, yeah, we'll help you guys out with this.
Yeah.
So we did kind of have a bit of an obligation.
Yeah.
I think some of the things we can do next time
mm-hmm.
that we're at the Klondike, if we get in for the big investigation, I think what we might need to do is take breaks.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, guaranteed we couldn't take a break. We had two groups coming in right after another.
Yeah. But
I think if we would have walked away from the situation.
Yeah.
And then, we had the radios, should have used them.
Yeah.
And be like, all right, okay. You need to take a breather.
Yeah.
Take a radio, take a breather, go outside for a second.
Yeah.
Because we fed into exactly what it wanted.
Well, and I think the one reason why I didn't stop you guys is because you had groups coming in. And so, and they were coming in fairly quickly. And that's the whole purpose of being there, is have these groups come in and see what a paranormal investigation was like. And you were leading those groups.
Right.
So, and then it was just you and I, James and I, and Kayla. And so Kayla seemed to be fine. Were you fine? I mean, I know you're not on camera or anything, but were you okay after? So? Were you negatively influenced? Was she negatively influenced?
I think not that last
Afterwards.
weekend. I think it was the
No.
first weekend we were there when it was.
Not so much negatively influenced. It's just I felt sick. I felt I had a headache.
That night or the next
That
day?
night. I had a headache.
So she says that she had a headache that night and felt sick.
My stomach hurt.
And her stomach hurt.
I was tired and irritated.
Tired and irritated. Okay.
But that, I mean, I don't know. I get like that when I'm tired. So, I mean,
Right.
I'm not necessarily sick, but
Yeah.
I get irritated easily when I'm tired. So I don't
Are you
know.
picking that up, Andrew?
Mhm.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if
Okay.
that was anything to do with anything, but there was definitely something I noticed.
Okay. Yeah. See, and people don't understand that negative spirits can influence the living, and they think it's a joke. And that's why it just irritates the crap out of me when people taunt spirits,
Right.
and because they could negatively influence you and negatively influence your family. I mean, it's bottom line. You can bring them home. They can follow you, and they can negatively influence your family, your children. I mean, it's no joke. It's
Yeah.
no joke. And it's not. People think that if it's not demonic, then they can't hurt you. That's not true.
Well, I know we've given the guy at the bar the moniker of Charles.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we felt
Charlie.
that Charles or Charlie, what
Yeah.
his name would be.
Yeah.
So I believe Charles overpowered everybody else.
Yeah.
Because he knew that he was going to get a reaction, and he wanted a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
I think the dude was just a jerk in real life.
Yeah.
Just loved to pick a fight. Loved to go to the bar and do what he had to do.
Yeah.
Saw us at our weakest.
Mm-hmm.
We're just trying to do a job, and we're just soaking all that in.
Yeah.
Because that one Saturday he said it. Oh my God, I've never seen you like this, Darrin. And I'm watching the
absolutely.
tape and listening to myself, and I'm like, wow, how many F-bombs am I been dropping?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, wow, I was not aware of how much I was cursing back at this thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the next group came down I started to kind of come out of the fog a little bit, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
And clean it up a little bit and be like, okay, somebody else deal with him right now.
Right.
But if we ever get back into the Klondike,
If
when I think somebody needs to take Charles to the
Mhm.
side and have a little conversation.
Oh, for sure. And I don't mind us talking to him and, just having a conversation, but we're going to be well protected, make sure that none of us have been sick, and just-
Injured.
injured, or whatever. No falling, no more
Yeah.
concussions.
No.
But yeah, we definitely need to do that. And we need to take extra steps to protect ourselves. For instance, I'm not saying we need to douse ourselves with holy water or anointing oil, but sage. Sage is a good way to cleanse ourselves. Stones also. I didn't bring any stones, but there's certain stones that we can use. We are going to have June here in a little bit on the line, and so we can definitely talk to her, and she can give us some ideas of what to use for protection as well. I also carry this is a St. Michael coin, and I know we can't get that on camera, but I carry that in my pocket or in my wallet always for protection. But sage is definitely such a great thing to use because it cleanses your entire body. Meditation is a great thing. Same thing as prayer. I always pray. Always pray. Always. I mean,
Right.
you guys know I'm a minister, and so I've always prayed. But anyways, but there's certain steps that we can take as individuals
Right.
as well as a group. And so, but yeah, so, but
Well,
it's important You know?
Yeah. See, normally I sage after an investigation,
Mhm.
get home,
Yeah.
light up a little bit of sage, do a little cleansing, and then I go to bed.
Yeah. Well, and it's good to do that before, because it wipes the slate clean and then gets rid of any toxins and things like that you may be carrying. And then do your investigation, and then after as well. I've done that on numerous occasions. I did not do that then. And one thing that's interesting is that I did not think that I was influenced in any way. I mean, I'm just sitting there watching you guys going, holy crap, man, what's going on with these guys? But then I realized it was a negative influence. The next day, I was driving with a friend of mine, very close friend of mine. And he, I didn't realize this, but man, I was angry. And okay, so everybody has some sort of road rage, but mine was like that day over the top. And he's like, dude, are you all right? And I go, what do you mean? He's like, you're mad at these other drivers for doing the same thing you're doing. And I go, what? And I didn't realize how angry I really was. And I was just pissed off driving, and then I started thinking about it later, and I thought, man, this is unusual. I mean, this is the very next morning. That was Saturday night. This was Sunday, early morning Sunday. And I realized, man, I think I'm being influenced by this dude, this negative influence. And so, because it was so unlike me to be like that.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, and I felt like that all day, just, and so I had to pray and and do what I got to do. And and the other thing is that you mentioned Saint Benedict, which I also wear this all the time, and so for protection. But anyway, so it's no joke. It really is no joke. It's one thing to be attacked by a demon, which is the worst, the absolute worst. That's not even the discussion for today. We'll get into that on another show.
That's a whole nother show.
Totally another show. But a negative influence from a negative spirit. I believe if you are negative in life, you're going to be negative in the afterlife. That's just my opinion. You can agree or disagree.
Oh no, I agree, because Charles is he's an angry man. We did not get the woman downstairs in the basement.
Yeah.
I think we got her for just a half a millisecond. We got a woman's voice just before the 15-minute curse-a-thon. Curse-a-thon.
I like that.
It went into curses, and I was cursing it.
Right.
But we got a woman's voice just for a second.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was just that one guy for 15 minutes straight.
Right.
So I believe that he doesn't want anyone else to talk to any of the other spirits.
I agree. Yeah. He's just kind of wanting to push everybody else aside and take control. And that's kind of what he was doing with you guys. Like James on the other hand. Okay, so I just have to point this out. So you guys had these bottles of liquor because he had asked the Saturday before or whatever for a drink or something.
That's right? For 2 shots.
2 shots. So who was it that brought the
I was
alcohol?
the one that brought the little bottles of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of like the little bottles you get in the mini fridges at the hotels or whatever.
Right.
And so so James is having this conversation. It's funny, but it's not funny. So he's having this conversation with Charles or Charlie, whatever. I get Charlie, but so he's having this conversation with this spirit, and then he stops answering questions that you're asking.
Yep.
So James is like, fine, I'm just going to take that away. And he's a child. He starts taking stuff away, the alcohol away. And I'm like, are you sure you really want to do that? And I'm thinking, this dude's negative. He can negatively influence you, which he's doing right now. But I didn't say that. But at one point I did say, do you really want to do that? You sure you want to do that? So anyways, I found it comical, but at the same time, I was getting kind of worried because you both are like...
Well, it's one of those where at one point, like I was saying earlier, I was laughing, and I don't even know why I was laughing.
It's so unlike you. But all right, well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk to the world-renowned demon seer, psychic medium, June Lundgren. She's going to help us out with this topic. So don't go away. Stay tuned for more of Paranormal Crossings Into the Light.
Welcome back to Paranormal Crossings in the Light. We're talking about negative spiritual influences. And on the phone, we have our good friend, June Lundgren, so that hopefully she can help us out a little bit with our predicament.
Woohoo. Are you there, June?
I'm doing well.
All right. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just trying to have a mellow day today. Yay!
Mellow. All right.
And then we drag her into our drama.
All right. So we are talking about negative spiritual influences, and we were recently at the Klondike for, well, a couple of weekends for a special event that we were involved in, and we were all negatively influenced by this negative spirit. And we were just kind of talking about negative spirits and influencing us. And I had watched firsthand how this negative spirit influenced Darrin and James. And I did not think that I was influenced until the next day. I definitely was being influenced. So, what do you suggest people can do when such things happen, or even to protect themselves beforehand, before going into a situation for an investigation?
Yeah, it's really important that you prepare for the investigation. A lot of people think that preparation for an investigation is just like, okay, I've got the EMF meter, I've got the digital recorder, that's all well and good, but you have to prepare yourself spiritually, especially if the location where you're going into is one that it has known negative entities within it. And in order to do that, you need to first pray and ask for protection and blessing upon your investigation from God or whatever deity that you believe in. And once you go in, which you should prepare yourself before you go in by creating a sort of white light shield. It's quite a simple procedure. You create like a white light force field and your intention in creating it is that nothing negative be allowed to penetrate the force field. And it's one of the things that's very important to understand is that in the dark realm as well as the light realm, thought becomes reality. And it's the intention behind the thought that gives it power. So if you have a powerful intention for good or for protection, then that's actually going to feed your white light force field and it will repel anything negative. They won't be able to get through.
So for those that don't believe in God, if they just do the white light, or a lot of people say, universe or whatever, then that still works?
Yeah.
Okay.
The greater consciousness, yeah. We humans, we give it a name. Some call it Jehovah, some call it God, some call it Shiva, Buddha, whatever. It's all about the faith that you have in this greater consciousness, or this spiritual entity that you believe in. And it doesn't matter whether you call it God or whatever. It's still your faith in that entity is all powerful. That's the thing. It has to be, you have to have faith in what you're doing. If you don't have faith in what you're doing, like say you create the force field, and you just create it because you were told to create it, not because you believe it's going to help, then obviously it's not going to help. Right. You have to have that belief and that faith in it working in order for it to work. And it does work. It's never failed. In the 46 years I've been, giving the people this little exercise to use for protection. But like I said, it can only protect so much. It will keep anything negative from attaching to you. But the problem with that is, you also have some of these that will follow you home. So you have to make sure that you state the intention when you get there, and you pray for the blessing upon the investigation. You have to make sure that you state that nothing negative be allowed to follow you home or attach itself to you or any of the people in your team. You have to state the intention straight up.
And so if you don't, like the next day I was being influenced, Kayla was being influenced the next day negatively, do you believe that entity followed us? Or is this just residual?
No, I believe that this is residual from the negative entity. It did. What I can see is it didn't follow you. This is just residual left over. It's like you have to cleanse yourself. You have to pull the white light into yourself and from the crown and run it down throughout your entire body to cleanse it of the negative energy that you absorb by being in the presence of that negative entity. Mm-hmm. It's like being in a waiting room and everybody's sick and you're the only healthy one. You're gonna get it. Right. Chances are. It's just a matter of when, not if. It doesn't matter if you believe in negative entities or not. They don't care because they believe in you. So, you really don't have a say. It's like people saying, I don't believe in demons. I'm like, really? I said, that's funny. They believe in you.
Right. They exist.
Yeah. And they let you know too. But the thing is, some people think, well, if I just ignore it or if I don't believe in it, then it won't happen or it'll go away. But, if you say that they don't exist, they're going to make you a believer.
Right.
You're issuing a challenge. Yeah. That's why you never provoke on an investigation, because you don't know what you're poking. Right. You don't know what barrier. But they can influence you to do a lot of different things. It's not just being in a bad mood or, just being grouchy with your family or whatever. It can lead to other things like thoughts of harming others, thoughts of harming yourself, driving too fast when you normally don't do that, things that are out of the customary for you. They influence you in a lot of different ways because they go into your mind and they put the thought pattern in there and they keep pushing it. It's almost like being brainwashed.
This negative entity that we dealt with at the Klondike, he was just a nasty guy. He is a nasty guy. And
yeah, I've met him.
He's in fact, he has been trying to push Holcomb down the stairs on a few occasions, and he's the only one that Holcomb has come in contact with, and he's the only one that we've come in contact with that's been negative. All the other entities that we've come in contact with have been pleasant. Yeah. And right. So, but I was surprised, I was watching James and Darrin, and they were just not themselves during the investigation. Just so unlike them. And so, which is the whole reason for this topic for today. Just, them and just out of their element as far as their behavior. And so what can people do once they've been negatively influenced? If others around them notice a change, what can be done? What do you suggest?
Cleansing by, somebody like a minister or a clergy of some kind, or even somebody like me that has the ability to cleanse out the negative energy that's in there, that's left over, the residual. And they can also do the white light cleansing on themselves.
Okay. Cleansing as far as like sage and prayer and what?
Well, cleansing so far as to sit down, quiet your mind, close your eyes, and connect yourself with the higher power that you believe in, and you see it as white light because the energy from them appears to us humans as white, and it's very powerful. And you pull that energy, and you visualize it going into your head, down into your body, filling every part of your body, having it and make it go all the way down to the feet first, and then bring it up. And as it comes up, you picture all the negative energy flowing out of your body.
Mm. And then now, go ahead.
And then you may have to do that a couple of times. It depends upon your belief system and how much faith you have in it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, June, I know that before the investigation happened, James had fallen down and had injured his head. And the day of the investigation, I had wrecked out my back. So, I mean, we kind of went in and we did what we normally do for an investigation, but I had asked Aaron if maybe because we were injured, if that would have been like a major weak point for us.
They are, and they look for your weak points. When this is an earthbound spirit, earthbound negative. So he can tell where you're hurting, where, like, if you have chronic back pain, if you're having kidney pain, if you have a headache, or if you've injured yourself recently or anything like that, they will be what they'll do is they'll push at that source of pain or that source of injury, and they'll make it worse. It's like rubbing salt into the wound, and they'll just keep pushing and pushing and pushing.
Yeah, because we both kind of noticed that we were trying to get in contact with the spirit of the woman in the basement, and the older man jumped in, and we had 15 minutes on the spirit box where he was not being quiet. It was one voice, 15 minutes. And as he's going on, I had to go back and watch the tape. My vulgarity was just through the roof. I was like a sailor, and I don't remember saying all the stuff. Yeah, I don't remember saying all that stuff. I thought
he was definitely influencing you.
Yeah, and then James was having the issue the following Saturday where he was.
Yeah, I really don't remember a whole lot except for the fact I know I was laughing at one point, and then towards the end of it, I apologized, and they accepted the apology and they apologized.
Yeah,
in between there, I don't remember.
Yeah,
spirits are like, demons in the way that they can manipulate electronics. They can manipulate you. So some of them, unfortunately, will jump you where they'll get inside your body and they'll take over, and you'll say things and do things that, that's not you. And you have no memory of it. Nope, none whatsoever.
Well, we do have video.
And it's very uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable, yes.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I had one try to jump me in Hampton Court in England, and I'm like, no, I don't think
so. He was manipulating the was it SB7 or what was that you had?
The SDC3.
Okay, and he would try to change his voice and make it sound demonic, and I just laughed and I told him, I said, that's not going to work. That is not going to work on me. I said, you cannot make that work on me, dude. Unfortunately, good try. I've seen demons. I've heard demons. I've removed demons with help, and you ain't it. And so,
you're not the real
deal. No, but he would do the, and I was like, no.
To be drama queen.
And I didn't want to laugh at him. I mean, I'm not going to taunt a spirit, me, and so, but they were definitely negatively influenced. And advice for others going into investigations? You did cover the protection, but what is some excellent advice for maybe some amateurs that want to be a paranormal investigator and gung-ho and want to go and do an investigation on their own? What kind of advice do you give people like that?
Keep your body is your best tool. It is very aware of negative things around you, or even good things that are around you. You have to pay attention to your body, the cues, the hair standing up, the sick feeling in the pit of your stomach, nausea, things like that, or if you feel really good, or you have like cold spots, things like that. Be hyper aware. Do not always assume that it's negative, because 9 times out of 10 it's not. It's Joe Blow or grandma or whatever. But just keep an open mind. Do not provoke. To provoke them is rude, to say the least.
Yes.
And you'll get in trouble, because if you can't see it, you can't see it, you can't hear it, you're screwed, because it can see you, it can hear you. You're kind of like, yeah, okay. And just be very cautious. Do not try to go it alone. Make sure there's always make sure there's always 2 people together in case something should happen, because they can come out of nowhere and they can knock you down the stairs. They can hit you from behind. They can pull your hair. They can do all kinds of things to you. And you're like, you think first, and that's your buddy that you're with. And they're like, no, I didn't do it. And you have to watch each other's back in the way of influence as well. As you say, there'd be somebody, maybe the man will be influenced and the woman won't be, and the man's like acting really weird and crazy and aggressive, and the woman's like, whoa, back off, something's going on here. And then that person, the girl, should take the man out of the location to get rid of it. 9 times out of 10, if you leave the location or could just go outside, the spirit will remain inside. But it's best to just be very careful and mindful.
That's excellent advice. And definitely don't go alone. That's for sure. And do not go any place that's no trespassing. Always get permission.
Yeah. And if you see something that's negative, absolutely 100% do not acknowledge it. Like, hey, Bill, did you see that shadow person? Don't be doing that stuff.
Right.
Then you make it turn around and see you. You make the shadow person see you. If you're just going about your business and you notice it, you don't say anything, you don't, acknowledge it, you're good. It'll pass on by you. But the minute you acknowledge it, it's like, oh, he sees me. Let's see what we can do.
They can hurt you. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah, they can.
And then, okay, so this has nothing to do with negative influence, but do you guys have a question for June? Another question?
With the influencing, the residual, like, you and Kayla had the next day, how long would a residual take?
A residual can last for 2 or 3 days.
2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, it's like going in a smoke-filled room, and you don't smoke, and you're coughing for days afterwards because it affects your lungs, same type of thing.
Can it cause depression?
It can. It can cause depression, aggression, suicidal thoughts, anxiety, just a whole litany of emotions.
And can that go on longer than 2 or 3 days then? That part of it?
It usually doesn't, because it's just, it'll dissipate over days. The longest I've ever seen it last is like 5 days. But that was in somebody who was really, really sensitive.
So it depends on how sensitive you already are.
Right. If you're open, if you're medium, or you have, you're sensitive or something like that, you're going to, it's going to impact you more. It's going to impact you greatly. Whereas somebody that doesn't have any abilities, it's like, oh, I just have a headache. Okay, move on.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It does for me now.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, because I feel, I'm pretty open, obviously, but I feel like it only affected me that one day, the next day. It didn't affect me that night. What about you, Kayla? Did that affect you more than just that one day, the next day, or?
That night and the next day.
That night and the next day?
Yeah, just with the whole being tired, headache, my stomach hurt, I was irritated, and then I woke up and I just remember being extremely tired. Just tired. Like falling asleep at my desk at work, tired.
Wow.
So, which is not like me at all. So, but then
they can drain your energy.
Good.
Yeah, she said
they can drain and
your
utilize your energy. Yeah.
They're powerful, and that's what we were talking about earlier before we had you on the phone, June. Is that it's no joke. People think it's a joke that don't believe, but negative spirits can negatively influence your life, and don't taunt.
They can ruin your life.
They can
ruin your life.
They can, and I agree. I mean, you and I have had this discussion. We've worked together on many occasions, but people just don't get it, and they continue to taunt, and they pay for it, and they don't realize that it's spiritual. They just don't get it.
Well, in my defense, I was unaware of what was going on.
No.
I know. I'm just saying, I'm the first guy to say, we're not going to taunt, we're not going to do this. But listening to our evidence, I am taunting. But I mean, that's all a blur. That entire point was a blur. I mean, we got saturated with the negativity. It was kind of like a high. We were kind of drunk a little bit, and I'm like, wow, I'm taunting. I don't taunt normally. No.
Now you weren't drunk. I mean, you didn't drink.
I wanted to drink.
Right.
That was the thing.
But you said drunk a little bit, but no. But just to clarify,
I was not.
No, you didn't drink.
Physically drunk.
No,
it was more of a spiritual drunk.
Yeah, negatively spiritual drunk.
Yes, where it was just I'm yelling at it because it started yelling at me, June, and then for some odd reason, I started yelling back at it, and we were just going back and forth and back and forth. And when I'm watching the tape, I'm like, wow. What am I doing? This is not me. This is a newbie mistake. But I don't remember that. It was all just kind of a blur. And
because you don't remember when they're influencing you like that. You have no clue.
And what's odd, June, is that the whole purpose for being there was this theater group was putting on this show basically, and then the end of it was to see an actual authentic investigation, which you can't really do an authentic investigation for 20 minutes. And that's kind of what it was. But you've been there with us in the basement. Well, you've been to the Klondike, but it ended in the basement. And so what was weird is that the spirit was making contact with us when the group wasn't there, but the second the groups came down, he shut up. He didn't say a word. He didn't interact or anything. But once the group left, then he was all talk again. And so it was very compelling to have this interaction.
It's kind of like a bully, when there's a group of you coming at him, he's, if he catches somebody alone, he's going to be a bully. He's going to, be bad to you. But if you got a group of people, he's going to not say a word. He's going to shut up and just wait and watch.
What he did do though, he did grab Kayla. He did.
He scared me.
Yeah, he scared her, and
he did that whole 15-minute long talking thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was scared to death. I wanted to run. I felt like he was a demon. I felt like he was a negative energy.
Yeah.
I was petrified. I wanted out, but I didn't go because of these groups. But I was completely, totally jacked, scared out of my mind.
Well, and he also grabbed someone from the theater group that came down.
Yeah.
Grabbed her on her behind. And
and then there was the one lady on that the first Saturday.
Made a comment.
He made a comment about her chest region in great detail on the SB7. Thankfully, she did not pick up to it. And we haven't heard anything more from that one.
Yeah. Well, he did. Yeah. He lured me over to the abortion room area.
Yeah.
And I think it was him that lured me over there. I just felt compelled. I needed to go over there at one point, and I did. And when I got over there, then I got grabbed. And so on my arm, my left arm. And then James came
Yeah.
over, and I mean, you could feel the cold, the difference. I mean, it was just unreal.
What was it, 14-degree difference?
There-
Was
yeah.
that what we got?
Yep.
Yeah, it was a 14-degree difference. I mean, it was just, but it made me mad, June. I don't like to be touched, you know, unless I say, touch me or whatever, which I did not
Right.
say, and especially him. And so, because he's a negative influence. But anyways, nevertheless, you know me.
Yeah, they know what you don't like, and he knows what you don't like. He reaches into your mind and knows that, and he's going to do exactly what you don't like. Something that will irritate you, or the women, it's something that will, make them mad or fearful, because that energy feeds them.
Yeah, that just, ooh, yeah. I kept trying to shake it off because that feeling is horrible, and I know Kayla was irritated with that, because she doesn't want to be touched like that either. Nobody does. It's it's an invading feeling, and so. But he
wasn't a nice person in life, so there you go.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we were saying earlier, and that's what I believe. If you're negative in life, you're negative in the afterlife. And
especially when you don't ascend fully. If you had ascended fully, then not remained earthbound, it would have changed, absolutely. But he didn't. He stayed earthbound.
Wow. Well, hopefully we can get back to the Klondike, and we'd love for you to come with us.
Yeah.
And this will be a whole different ball game than it was many years ago when we all went for the fundraiser. So we won't have 50 plus people there.
Right. Yeah.
Although that was a great, a great event for a great cause, obviously. Right. But no, it'll be different this time. So we'll see what we can work out. So. But anyway,
that'd be cool.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, June. We really appreciate you chiming in, and we appreciate everything that you do, and obviously your friendship. So, any last questions? No. Do you have anything else to add, June?
Just take care of yourselves.
All right. And one last time, you were a guest on our show, and you have many, many books. And so what is your website that people can go to learn more about you and your books and whatnot?
They can go to demonseer.com.
All right.
Or they can find me on Facebook under June Lundgren.
All right. So I believe we can put that up on the show, or we can put that in the comments later. But demonseer.com, June Lundgren, thank you so much. And we will talk to you soon. We're definitely going to have you back on in the studio, probably after the first of the year sometime. So, well, thank you, June, and happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. And we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. Well, you've heard it from June Lundgren herself. And gosh, she's amazing. She really is. And just to be able to do an investigation with her is amazing. And so, but yeah, protection. The white light. When I first started working with June, and she taught me about the white light protection, it's amazing to be able to do that for the first time, and then practice it. And so now I'm able to just do that, just like that. And but it takes a while to be able to do that. And so she's right. No matter if you believe in God or Buddha or whoever, whatever your, I don't even know what to call it, but whatever you believe in, spiritual being or whatever, just to be able to call on that and ask for protection. That's the main thing. And that's the other thing, I did this down in the Shanghai tunnels every time I went down there. But I had a conversation with the spirits, and maybe we need to do the same thing when we go back to the Klondike, and wherever we go, where there's a bunch of spirits, or any spirits really, is I used to say, hey guys, it's Aaron. I'm here to do the tour and investigation, because I always did an investigation when I went to the Shanghai tunnels. Yeah. But because I went and I opened by myself, so I'm down there in the Shanghai tunnels, and I would say, listen, we're going to have a tour today, and we got a lot of people coming through. And so please do not harm anyone, do not touch anyone inappropriately. And I literally had to start saying that because women would get touched inappropriately. And so they would tell me. And so I had to start saying that. And then I would say, and please, you cannot follow anyone home, including me and the staff. And so because people were getting had spirits following them. So maybe we need to start doing that. Why not? It worked.
Yeah.
And so just have a conversation like we're having a conversation now. It works. They're people. They were people in life, and now they're spirits in the afterlife. So we need to start having conversations. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, normally we tend to do that. I mean, we normally try to walk into a building and be cordial and everything.
Yeah.
Like I said, we spent so much time in the basement. We were just dripping in negative energy.
Yeah.
It was like Ghostbusters too, when they fall in the river of slime.
Right.
Exactly.
We know what we're doing. We know what we're supposed to be doing, but we just got dunked in negative slime.
Yeah.
And kind of lost our heads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and didn't a spirit say, Aaron, through the SB7
Yeah,
or
the
something?
SB7.
What was funny is years and years and years ago, Norblad Day, it was right before that, the night before, we were investigating the Commodore. And I came walking down in the basement with my wife, and I can't remember who else was down there. But anyways, they had the SB7 going. And with filters and all that stuff, and all of a sudden, it said, "Aaron's here." As I'm walking in,
Yeah,
I'm like,
I've seen the video.
Yeah, and it's like, wow, that's crazy that they know our names. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's kind of spooky, to have a spirit say your name that you don't know.
Yeah,
and so, but
They're
that's
watching.
They were always watching. So but we need to start having conversations. That I need to remember that again.
Yeah.
But protection is important first and foremost.
It's been a while since we've been on investigation.
Yeah,
Pandemic has kind of
investigation,
taken us out of rotation.
Oh yeah.
So we need to line up more so we can get back into practice of things.
Yeah.
I think maybe that was it, because this was our big investigation for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So I mean, even though we thought we were protected and everything, we did walk in injured. We were with a walking wounded.
And I'm guilty for not doing my white light protection. I did not do that. I did other protection. I mean, I prayed, but I didn't do the white light. And I had been sick. You were injured, and you wrecked your back, like you said. Yeah. So you were injured. So yeah, there are steps that we need to take to protect ourselves properly. Because it is no joke. So
yeah, well, it could be another tiger demon house if we're ever walking in.
Oh man, yeah.
We got to be on the ball here.
Well, and like she said, you got to be careful when you taunt, and you shouldn't taunt. And you guys didn't realize it because it could attract
others,
demonic entities. And I've been attacked, and that is no joke, and it's no fun. And so, anyway, yeah. We'll do a show on demonic attacks and others that have been attacked. Not just me. I don't want to talk about that for a whole show, but others that have been attacked like that. It'd be great if I can get Zach Bagans to talk about it, because I had a full-on conversation with him when I was on that show. My wife and I were on the show, and because of my attack at the Norblad, and he and I can relate with back issues. And he said, wait a minute, how did that feel? And he said, oh my gosh, I can relate. This is what happened to me. And so, I mean, imagine, that'd be great to have him on I don't know. We'll see. I have some contacts, so I'll see if I can get him on. So Zach Bagans, if you're listening, or any of your producers, let's get you on. Even on the phone. Wouldn't that be great? Or Zoom or something. So I don't know. We're in a pandemic, so maybe he'll do it. So,
yeah. I don't know about these things.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I think that about wraps it up for Paranormal Crossings Into the Light. Any last words before we...
I don't have a damn thing right now.
No? You don't feel like you're negatively influenced anymore than your
headache? Just the head.
Yeah.
Still
take care of yourself, brother.
Yeah. It'll be a while. I think.
You know,
Yeah.
I almost feel like it should be like a WWE promo. Guess what, Charles? We're coming for you. Because we are coming for him.
All right, that's right.
It's
Well,
payback time.
he's a spirit. We'll take care of him. So, the right way.
The right way.
The right way. All right. Well, thank you all, and we wish you a good week, safe week, and mask up, wash your hands, and be safe. So, until next time, take care.
So, yep.
See ya.